recognize Viola Dickinson, born 1881. Raise your hand, please. There she is. Talk to her before it's all over. And with her traveling today from Cedar Hill, we have Sarah Summers. Sarah, where are you? There's Sarah Summers. Yes. 1854 was her birth year. Also today, we're happy to have Mrs. Lattimore Childs, Minnie Pearl Lattimore Childs. Raise your hand. There's Minnie Pearl Lattimore Childs. She's actually buried in this cemetery, and she's the mother of Margie Bazier, Margie fame. Finally, on the back of the program, there's so many people to thank. We couldn't do this without so many individuals as well as groups. We've been blessed with flowers from Keep Jacksonville Beautiful. Around the tent today, you see these beautiful flowers came from the Jacksonville Garden Club, a special arrangement. We're so grateful to that. Lisbeth Bonla and her husband and Tommy Nolly did the flags at the gate, on and on. But one other person we need to really recognize is Bindi Cavanis. Did Bindi make it today?
No. She has her leg in that boot, and
she has her leg in a boot. But I did want to especially mention her because years ago, she made a map of the cemetery and a notebook listing in alphabetical order of all those people buried here. So it's been so wonderful to use Bindi's map and list of people to locate graves. So that sort of gives us all the thank yous taken care of, I hope. Now we'll start with the figures and their stories. And as I said, I'm Frances Gaynelle Bailey Bone, and my story begins in Georgia. I was born in 1895. I had big blue eyes and curly hair, and 2 brothers. We lived on a farm. My mother, Rachel Bailey, died when I was only 9.5 years old. It altered my life. I began to keep house for my father and 2 brothers. Father took me out of school. When I was very young, I married a man much older who suffered from an illness. Due to the flu epidemic, he soon died, as did our infant son. World War I was raging, and the flu killed so many. About 50 million people died worldwide. Within months, more people died of the flu than had died of any other illness in history. I wanted to become a nurse and pursue my education. I went to Augusta, Georgia, and worked as a nurse's aide at the old University Hospital. During World War I, there was a great need for nurses, so the requirements for entry were relaxed. Even though I had no high school diploma, I enrolled in the nursing school at Greenwood Hospital in South Carolina. There I met Miss Baumberger, who was superintendent of nurses. I studied, I worked, and on June the 8th, 1919, I received my RN degree. This is the dress I wore at my graduation. Such a happy day. I had my photograph made with Mrs. Baumberger. She said I was one of her finest students. After graduation, I went to work at a college in Kansas. I was the school nurse, and in the 1920 college yearbook under my photograph, it said, Georgia Sunshine. When Mrs. Baumberger came to Jacksonville to be superintendent of the Cherokee Sanatorium, She asked me to join her, and I said yes. The Cherokee Sanatorium, later known as Nan Travis Hospital, had been organized by Drs. J.N. Bone, F.A. Fuller, and J.M. Travis. Dr. J.N., or John Bone, was a widower. His wife had died in the flu epidemic of 1919, just as my husband and son had. In 1919, due to all of the deaths in Jacksonville because of the flu, they opened a new section right here in the old city cemetery to accommodate all the burials. John purchased his Bone family plot at that time. A relative of John's, a Bone relative, Doff McKee, planted magnolia trees in the old city cemetery. John, Dr. Bone, was attracted to this young nurse named Gaynelle, but pretty soon everybody started calling me Nell. We married September 29, 1921 at the First Presbyterian Church in Jacksonville. On our honeymoon, we sailed from Galveston to New York, and we came home by train. Once we were home after our honeymoon, I became interested in civic and community affairs. With some of my friends like Mrs. Fuller, Mrs. McKinney, Mrs. John Bell, Mrs. G.W. Gibson, we organized a new Wednesday study club with some of our younger women friends in Jacksonville. It would be known as the Wednesday Study Club. I was the first president, and then at various times, I did other things like special nursing. I sold life insurance. At one point, I could do it all, couldn't I? At one point, I was president of Joe Wright PTA. I loved opera, and on Saturday afternoons, I would listen to opera on the radio. About 1940, I bought a flower business from Mrs. Gillum, and I operated a flower shop in Jacksonville. Often I would get in the car with the kids and the family. We would drive to the family farm in Mount Selman. We'd walk down to the creek, tote water back up to the house in the garden, and water my gladiolas. And I would use them in my flower shop. They were my favorite flower. I loved all of my children. Some of you may know my daughter, Dr. Mary Alice Bone. I think she may have become a very talented and caring physician. But sad to say, I passed away when she was but a young girl, nearly about the same age when my mother passed away in Georgia. In 1944, when I died, on the day I was buried here at the old city cemetery, that entire hillside was covered in bluebonnets. Thank you.